Hey everyone, if you followed my content and all, you got to trust me. This interview is going to blow you away. This is one of the coolest things I've ever done. We're going to interview Brandon Poulin here, the CEO of LadyBoss. Super energetic guy. He's on pace to do over $50 million in e-commerce this year. And he's all of 25 years old, which is ridiculous in itself. Real fast before we get underway here and bring Brandon on. Two things I know I'm going to get asked about, so I thought I'd just give it to you up front. One is if you want to work with me, like in the photo here when I was out helping Brandon with his Amazon business, amzinsiders.com/apply, no cost. Go there and we have spots. If you get a message saying we're full, it means we're full, but otherwise amzinsiders.com/apply for the free consultation. So you get that. And then the second thing I want to give you right before we get underway, because again, people are going to email me. I know I get hundreds of emails at times around this type of stuff. Platform Brandon's, we're going to talk about it, some that he uses and we use as well too. It's a tool called ClickFunnels. Knowing that we're going to talk about it today, the ClickFunnels group has agreed to give us a 14-day free trial. You go to amzinsidersfunnels.com and that will get you that free trial. It's a super awesome tool. Again, we love it. We use it, but Brandon is a total ninja with it. I mean, it's what he used to build his business, and we helped him on the Amazon side. But that's it. I just want to give you those two quick things so you guys don't have to email me. You can just go check them out yourself. Trust me, you're going to love this. Let's jump right into it, everybody. So Brandon is the CEO and co-founder of LadyBoss. It's the first global weight loss system support community for women. With the help of his rock star wife, Kaylin, and their leadership team, he has helped transform the lives of over 140,000 customers across the world. With its unique 4 product lines having accumulated tens of millions of dollars in revenue, Brandon and his team at LadyBoss are disrupting the weight loss industry by simply focusing on helping women lose weight while loving themselves again. Brandon, welcome.
Woo! Glad to be here, man. I need you to do that every time I walk into like any room anywhere, and then we'll be
Gladly. So so this is awesome. It's great Brandon had me out in New Mexico. I got to spend some time in that awesome office you have just a week ago, and I'm excited to talk to you again here.
It was a good time, man. It was a good time. We got a lot done, didn't we?
We did, yeah. I thought it was really, really productive on both ends. So we did a little share, which was cool with Brandon. Before I jump in with some questions, it was really cool with Brandon because we were going to go to talk Amazon. I think this is kind of a good lesson. Is I showed up all ready with all my stuff ready to talk Amazon. And the entire first day, Brandon said, "No, let me talk about how I can help you first." Which you hear sometimes people talk about, but it actually he meant it. And then as we'll start diving into things, some of the things that he does, just so different than things I've experienced. And it was just it was a ton of fun. So the next day, I had a chance to give him some value on my end too. So it was a lot of fun.
You laid it down, man. You laid it down.
Yeah. So what I'm super excited to talk to you about is. I've been to conferences with 3,000 people and seen you up on stage, you and your wife, Kaylin, talk about and inspiring people and helping people out. But, some people with LadyBoss, obviously Kaylin is a rock star and in many ways the face of the brand. And you're, once in a while people may get to see you, but you're more, I'd say, behind the scenes in terms of the operations and all that you do. You both make a great team without question, for our audience and people that are e-commerce. And we've got people that are, just starting off. We have some people that out there that are doing, they're doing maybe a couple million a year, which is pretty awesome in itself. But I just thought, it'd be great. First, let's get details. We'll jump into some questions around, your perspective around this. But, maybe first, because I'm sure many people are still learning about LadyBoss or don't know about it. Can you tell just a little bit about your background? How did you guys get into this business and, how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And thanks for having me on, Jamie. It was awesome to have you out here, dude. You're a stud, man. I love what you're doing on Amazon and podcasts and all. It's really cool. So yeah, man, like LadyBoss, we started about 4 years ago. My wife and I met through a network marketing company, actually. And so we sold weight loss products for like 4 years before we met. So we met in that company and then we decided to open our own thing. And, really it started with an intention of who are we going to help? Who are we going to serve? And, Kaylin had lost 65 pounds, broke a world record, won her IFBB Pro card. And instead of going into like fitness, we decided to go into weight loss and the average American woman who is now over 60 pounds overweight. Right. And so 4 years ago, we had this moment. We were in Planet Fitness, actually. It's kind of ironic, walking on treadmills, and we like plotted like world domination, right? Just like husband and wife team. We were just engaged, and we're like, this is what we're going to do. And so that's kind of how it got started, man. And it's just evolved, and we've launched product lines and grown a team. And man, it's been a crazy journey, man. But essentially, we just aim to provide the best products, services, and information in fitness, nutrition, and accountability. That's kind of like our wheelhouse. And so we just help women lose weight while loving themselves again. That's our core mission. We read it every morning on our huddle with all of our 60 plus team members, and that's what we're about. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And you and Kaylin are an awesome team. It's almost unfair to the competition out there that you have both of you guys on one team together.
They should be scared. They should be scared.
Yeah. If this was like a pickup basketball, you'd have to kind of divide you guys up onto different teams, but you get to go
actually,
at it together.
Kaylin played basketball, so that's up the wheelhouse. She was like a D1 scholarship, man.
Oh, wow. Okay. There. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So, and if, it's interesting because, your business entails a lot in terms of, and I love what you talked about fundamentally is, value of what you guys do are specifically helping women. I know in our case, we talk about e-commerce, even if it's a simple product, whatever the product is, at the end of the day, it has to add value, whether it's, big or small. And I could tell, spending time with you, that's definitely a core value, probably more than a core value. It's at the forefront of everything you guys do. As you got into this business and, again, thinking of our e-commerce crowd out there too, obviously we'll talk Amazon a little bit down the road because I know you're getting more focused on that a little bit, but just in terms of the e-commerce side, like how did you figure out, I mean, most people out there, as they think of e-commerce, they think of Shopify or they think of maybe a website and sell stuff or obviously like Amazon or something else, but I'm just curious how you thought about it. And, I've never really talked about ClickFunnels ever before, but I don't know if that's the really the primary software you guys use or other aspects, but just curious, to sell your stuff, I guess. How did you think about that, and how did you kind of pick what you were gonna, how to sell the stuff?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Well, early on, we were looking for platforms, so we're like, okay, we're gonna have an online membership site, right? That's like a popular thing, and we had Kaylin had been subscribed to this other guy, and he like put out a workout each day, and we're like, we could put out a workout each day and charge $9 a month, right? Like we could do that. And so actually the search led me to ClickFunnels, and Russell, who's the founder, and him and Todd, they're real good friends now. And so it just kind of stumbled upon it. I called like the one dude I knew in Albuquerque that knew anything about internet marketing. Cause I knew like if we were going to start this company, we're going to sell it, we needed to do it online. Like hands down, like I'm 25 years old. I know where the money's flowing, where the world's moving, where commerce is, right? Just like,
wait, are you only 25 for real?
Yeah, for real.
I'm like, maybe he's in his 30s, maybe 29. The guy's like only 29. I've been telling people. That's awesome. See, but sorry, continue.
Yeah, man. So that's what led us to ClickFunnels. Just it was just a software the guy I knew out here was using, and he showed it to me, and we just dove all in. And Russell's actually been a mentor. Now he's a great friend, and so his platform is, you can really sell anything on ClickFunnels. It's easy to set up, get started. Back when it was just Kaylin and I wearing all the hats, you know what I mean? We're editing videos, we're filming videos, we're setting up the site, we're writing the copy, we're writing the message, we're setting up the carts, we're setting up the products, we're making the fulfillment, doing the membership, and we were able to do pretty much everything with ClickFunnels. So that was an awesome head start. And then Russell also has a training program. And so we really dove into that. And what I love about him is he's such a student of the game of marketing, and he's always teaching. And now we like learn stuff from each other. And I'm actually going out. We're gonna kind of do the same thing me and you did, Jamie. And so that was a real big thing in getting started, was using that platform. And of course, everything has evolved as we've grown, and we use it in different ways. And we got like, I don't even know, there's probably 150 different pieces of software that run LadyBoss now. But we do have a Shopify store now, and we do have Amazon now. So, but that's kind of where it started.
Got it. Yeah, that's helpful. Like I said, I don't think I've ever even mentioned ClickFunnels to, certainly never in the group. And it's something, having spent even a little more time with you on the e-commerce side, or even some of the people you're introducing us to out there, the guys like the Trey Llewellyns of the world and others, it's interesting. I'll probably, we'll definitely share, this will be on our podcast notes. We'll definitely share some information for how people can check that out as well too. So that's definitely interesting. How about, we'll jump into, perspective of, if someone, and this is, pretty broad, just advice, perspective for people that as they're getting underway, what's kind of the first couple of things you think someone should think about it, going back to when you guys were at the beginning, and obviously, you have a certain niche and there's thousands of niches people can focus on. Yeah. But just any advice you'd have for people out there that, because there's so many people that of course, have this desire to build their own business and, have it be legitimate and real and not something that's going to not last. But yeah, I'd love any perspective on that.
Yeah. Man, I always tell people that building a company is one of the hardest, but most exciting and challenging things that you can do. And for me, it's the most exciting, but also the hardest thing I've ever done. And I think number one is that you have to be absolutely passionate about your product or service, whatever you're selling. And I know everybody is yeah, you have to be passionate, quit your job, do what you're passionate about. But at the end of the day, when you hit the humps, because no matter how many Facebook ads you see of just instant this, overnight this, whatever, it's just not true. You're going to hit walls that are going to challenge you and that are you're either going to break down or break through on those walls. And if you're not passionate about the service you're providing, the product that you're selling, the impact it's making on people, and if it's just about the money, then you will absolutely never have success. 'Cause I'll tell you, if it was just about the money, after you have enough, you got a couple six figures or whatever, and you can do whatever you want, you can vacation, whatever, then it would stop there. You wouldn't, it wouldn't have grown for me. Right. It's interesting because I do a culture meeting. So every quarter I get all my team members on and I tell them the story of our company. Cause I want them to understand that Kaylin and I hit this roadblock where it was okay, we got to really get passionate about the results we're giving and really just dive into the heart of our people, for real, not just we need to be successful and just pay our bills. Right. Yeah. And once we made that shift, it wasn't any longer about the money. It was about the impact and it was about the growth. And those are the things that will keep you growing. So if you establish that from the get-go, I think it'll make you unstoppable. And the second thing I would say is, man, you've got to find a mentor and model success, right? Like Jamie, you're a perfect example. So if anybody on here is trying to do Amazon, this guy is selling tens of millions of dollars worth of product on Amazon. And almost 100 million, you said you guys are moving towards this year, and who better to learn it from? So for me, it was I landed on ClickFunnels, I landed on Russell and this guy who knew marketing, had been studying it for 20 years, and so I didn't need to go and spend 20 years studying it. I could just pull what he's doing, right, and model success. So I think that's the other thing is, in whichever angle that you want to approach your company, or the delivery mechanism, or the software you're going to use, or the sales processes, someone has already done it. And if you just invest in a mentor and model success, you'll get there so much faster. I tell people all the time, I'm not that smart, right? I freaking work hard, and, but at the end of the day, I know how to model success. I know how to see what's working and morph it into what I need to do. And I think that just discerning who to listen to is really important, because there's so many noises and so much chatter out there. And I always dive in, and I'm really careful about who I listen to, let speak into my life in any area. So be passionate. Don't worry about the money, and then model success. I think that's the two things I would say to someone getting started 100%. Because if you establish that now, then you're going to crush it no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I know, again, I'm just interacting a little bit. If someone were to say, "Oh, you're lucky. Your business is lucky," I knew the reaction. I could see a little reaction like, "You're out of your mind. You have no idea." Which is, I think, it goes to your point of whether it's has nothing to do with luck, nor has it to do with the magic opportunities, as opposed to figuring out how to do things and really jump into it. And it's interesting. With your, I love what you talk about in terms of really embracing the results of, in your case, with what you guys are doing, really taking to heart of what the value and what you guys are doing in terms of helping women and that mindset. Because I know it can be easy for people to think about, hey, I'm just, people are in business to make money, and that's there's nothing wrong with that. But,
nothing wrong with that.
But, to really be successful, it sounds like you're saying, your business probably really kicked into gear was when, you really, really took to heart what you guys were accomplishing for or helping other people accomplish in their lives, it sounds like.
That's right, man. Because when you do that, then the money will flow. Like it just will. Like
that's
it.
Yeah, it's really, really good. How about this? Again, some of my questions are just kind of like my own observations around you or things as I saw, because I hadn't met you, but and I had someone on the podcast a couple weeks ago, a guy Jim, who's in this group who's in his 60s, and he's literally started his Amazon business in September, or he sold his first product in September, and he just sold it this past summer, so less than 2 years, and a nice chunk of money. I think we didn't talk specific dollars, but I know it was. And he's kind of a veteran e-commerce guy, knew what he was doing. But one of the things he talked about was, somebody need to run the business. You need to actually put the time in to execute it, because so many people get caught up, in the front thing, what the opportunity is. They get into it, the shiny object. Just any perspective on, as you, and obviously you have a bigger operation now, you're growing and building, but it seems like, my observation is you have a level of discipline in terms of how you do things and process and training, but just anything you would share for people about how you think about your business. I mean, your business doesn't happen. It's become pretty complex. How do you try to keep things organized and even your own schedule on your end?
Yeah, that's like a whole wide scope. So I would say as terms of if you're asking how we keep everything organized, Google G Suite, man, like emails, calendar, everybody lives and die on their calendar. One thing that recently with my leadership team, and this is stuff that anyone listening right now, no matter where you're at, you can do this. If you make your schedule reactive to your calendar, what I mean is that don't rely on having to remember to do things, calendar everything. I sit down and I plan my entire week before it happens. And every morning I plan my entire day. And then I take that plan of priorities and I calendar it into my day. And if there's residual things, I set reminders. So literally I live and die by my calendar, and everybody on my team does the same thing. And it frees up that bandwidth and that pressure and noise that happens when you're an entrepreneur. And if you really rely on it, you rely on, number one, planning and being forward about your planning. And then you're using your calendar. So literally I could just today, I'm just reactive to my calendar and my forward planning. So I don't have to wonder in any moment, because I've sat down, I've thought through what do I need to grow right now? And then I've made a plan, and then I put it into a time slot on a calendar, and it's foolproof, right? Most people, it's we just kind of react to, like you said, the shiny thing over here and the shiny thing over here. But at the end of the day, you don't have to be as disciplined if you do discipline yourself in that small chunk of time to plan and then implement on a calendar. Is I think that next step that most people, they might make a checklist, but then taking that in, putting it into time is what really opened my eyes and my team over the last couple months. So we use G Suite like crazy. We use Sheets and Google Docs to run everything. We don't use project management systems. You're always trying to squeeze your processes into Asana or Basecamp or whatever, and squeeze things into these software molds. But in reality, we're running a multi-million-dollar company off of Google Sheets and documents, right? Because everyone learns how to use it. Everyone who joins the company takes a course on Google Sheets, which is basically Excel, and they know how to work it. And so it's without getting too into the weeds, basically, you can run everything on that if you know how to use it effectively. And those systems and those processes, those keep everybody sane and keeps me sane, right? With all the things going on.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think it's because, there's so many, you think of all the trainings and marketing people are drawn to learn. This is the type of stuff that no one really pays that much attention to because it's not as sexy, but it's probably the difference between, your business doing well and then plateauing or not going anywhere versus, the trajectory you guys are on to grow.
Right. And in the beginning, your job in the beginning, when you just start, is you need to figure out a message that will sell, right? You need to consistently be able to deliver sales, right? Because if you can't do that, your spreadsheets don't care. Your spreadsheets don't matter if you don't have any money coming in, right? So I always put marketing first, but once that starts happening and once you start getting things rolling and you've consistently been able to create sales and you've started to leverage some of that. And it happens fast, man. I mean, the 2018 is an incredible time to be an entrepreneur. I mean, I don't think there's a better time that's ever existed where it's been easier, and there's been better access to information to start a company. It's crazy, the opportunity now. And like someone can jump on, learn from a guy like you, pay a couple $1,000. Like people spend 160 grand and sit in the classroom for 4 years, right? Like they could pay a couple $1,000 and jump in and learn something, like an actual tactical strategy, go list a product on Amazon and have a company, right? So I think that, you got to have marketing first, but those systems, once you get rolling, I think some people, they don't understand how much it actually impacts them, I think.
That's great. Yeah. And I love that. And then so literally in your morning or, the day when you said, just taking a step back to, you said you'll look at what you've got on the calendar for the day, but when you kind of look at the task to put it to the calendar, literally, how does that actually work? You just take a look at your task and then you start, I'm going to do this, do that. What does that look like? Yeah.
Yeah, man. So it's kind of like a 3-step process. So it starts with the Airlock, right? So the Airlock is like, I don't know if my computer's buzzing or yours.
It might be a customer trying to get into my, but it might be yours. It doesn't matter. It's one of our Google voice things. Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's kind of a 3-step process. The first step is called the Airlock. So the Airlock is basically a categorized to-do list, right? And this is on notes because like iMac, it jumps between my iPhone and my computer. I got my notes. Everyone in my company uses this system. If I pass off an action item from me to someone else verbally, like it goes into the Airlock. If I hear something, get a thought, man, like how many good thoughts have you gotten? And you're like, oh, what was that thing that I thought of while I was in the shower? Like, and so like everything goes right into the Airlock, man. So no good idea goes unexecuted, right? So then I sit down at the beginning of the week and I look at my Airlock and I decide,
the Airlock is that like a notepad? What is the Airlock?
The Airlock is just notes, man. Just notes on your iPhone. And it's one note that's a categorized. I break it down by departments in my company now, but in the beginning it was just one list of like, here's the stuff I need to do to grow my company based on the information that I'm learning from mentors and modeling success, right? So it's like, take information, modeling success from mentors, come up with the action items for my company. And then every morning or at the beginning of the week, take those from the Airlock and then prioritize them. What are the 10 things that I'm going to do this week? That goes onto a sheet that's called forward planning. And then I plan out the week that way. And then once the week's planned, then I take those action items and I put them into the calendar, right? And so I do that process every week at the beginning of the week on Mondays in the morning, very early. And then I do the same process every weekday. So the week is planned out from like a larger view footprint of it. And then each day is planned out the same way. And in doing that, I mean, you never have to wonder, am I on the right track? Because you spend that time to think about it, right?
That's great. So, yeah, that's so you're not like going to YouTube to try to do something and then get stuck watching like 20 videos on water skiing or something.
I'm not perfect. There's some funny dog videos. Like Facebook is good at what they do, man. This crack. I literally, I remember one time I literally had to intentionally, like for the week, my intention was like to catch myself when I'm like grabbing my phone, opening Facebook. Like I literally used to delete the app for like days at a time. Cause like your brain just like, it's literally like a dopamine rush. So definitely have to exercise intention there.
That's amazing. I'll be like, going to check subscribers on my YouTube channel. And next thing I'm like, oh wait, I'm supposed to be doing this or whatever the case might be. So, that right there, like I said, that's worth of a business school, a couple courses right there, just in terms of organizing and that, I love how you do that in terms of, like I said, not that no one's perfect, but that has to help so much in terms of, especially as you're growing, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, when we implemented this, like everybody gets twice as much done, right? Yep. It's like, you sit there and the day catches up to you and you're like, all right, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, and then boom, it's just right there. So.
Gotcha. Yep. I think it's gotta be, you're more popular than me. So people are definitely gotta be calling you on your Google Voice. You use Google Voice?
Dude, I have no idea what that is right now.
Oh, that's Google Voice. It could be, we have Google Voice. People call us on it, but it's.
You have a rogue ringback tone that's happening right now.
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah,
that's why we can roll with it, man.
Yeah, no, it's just business rolling in. People trying to get a hold of us, but How about, you talked about mentorship, and I love what you talk about. How about just some of the people and names that, you either follow, or I know you mentioned obviously Russell from ClickFunnels, but yeah, just other people would love to hear. Maybe other people can learn from as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, first and foremost for me as a Christian, like I study Jesus's example, like as just a human, and not to get into anything crazy, but if you just look at him as a person, thousands of years later, to influence over 2 billion people, I think he's the best entrepreneur that's ever existed.
Yep,
so yep. I read about 60 business books, and then I started reading the Bible and realized that all the information, it was the same stuff. And so that's my main source, man. Every single morning I'm reading Bible plans and taking in wisdom from the creator of wisdom. And so that's number one. And then I would say Russell has been huge in marketing and online sales and anything to do with marketing. He's just such a student at it. Like he studies all the time. He's always learning. He's always growing. And that's the people that I want to learn from. Yeah. And then, Dan Kennedy has some incredible books on copywriting, just how to understand the mind of your customer, and just understanding what selling really is. And then also Alex Charfin was a huge help to me in developing some systems for our company. Kind of gave me like a lot of the pie, and then I could add in the rest of it that I needed. But he really set me on the right track, thinking about reducing pressure and noise and systematizing a company. And it's crazy, man, because every day as a CEO, it's different, right? And so, sure. One of the things that I really believe in is if you're consuming information that you can't immediately execute, you're absolutely wasting your time. Because like I don't know about you, Jamie, but I don't remember anything that I learned in high school, right?
Right.
I actually dropped out of high school, by the way. But you wrote a question that was like, tell me about your background. I'm like, I have a GED. But at the end of the day, if you're consuming information and you're not able to execute it immediately, then you're not going to actually remember it. You might take notes and go back to it, which is okay. That's better, I guess. But I don't consume anything if it's not immediately implementable and actionable to me right now. And I think that like we're drowning information, but we're still starving for wisdom as a society as a whole. But I mean, like, just because you're watching YouTube videos or doing whatever, or reading like someone's like, oh, I'm going to read a book every single day. And I'm like, dude, like, you're just going to like, okay, that's cool. Like maybe, but then like, when do you have time to implement and truly like get to the results of what you're learning? And so for me, it's deciding, what do I need to learn right now to execute what's on my forward planning this week or this month, right? Like I'm always saying, okay, when I'm going to learn something, what's the action I'm applying it to? Because if you just learn it to learn it and you don't execute it, then your gift you have to give the world through your company, it's not going to be as big as it could be. So I'm very careful about what I consume. I think that if people were more intentional about that it would bless them, and they'd really be able to learn and grow and just focus. You know what I mean? So yeah. Hopefully that answers a little more of your question there.
Totally. And I know you said sometimes other people want people on podcasts just to learn, to get details, but I was like, all right, Dan Kennedy and again, Alex, I look forward to connecting with him. But it was actually one of the funny things I thought was with Kalen and you having, when we had dinner, was I think Kalen mentioned by the time when you guys are at conferences and you hear a speaker or maybe like a book someone recommends and everyone else is taking notes, I think I heard you mention that it's already bought in your Amazon app and purchased by the time people are still typing the stuff in. You've already boom, 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 and got it on your way to your house.
That's right, man. Just save yourself a step. It takes you just as long to write down as it does to type it into search on Amazon and buy it with one click. That's the world we live in, man. That's 2018. It's amazing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But then the next step, Jamie, is that like, I may have bought that, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna read it right now. But when I'm like, okay, this week I want to focus on the copy and the messaging of our company, right? Then I'm going to suck that book in and I'm going to be reading that in between all the days, you know, in between the work days and the work hours. Right. So that's the mindset about personal growth and development and like sucking in information. You know what I mean?
That's it's really, again, it's just interesting to see too, like, you know, the other one to me, it's like, you know, again, one of my observations was just, you know, you've got a successful business. You did, I think, maybe over $4 million last month. And I know your expectations are, you know, you're not satisfied in terms of the impact you guys are working to make. But, and with that, yet you're so quick to go out to find people to learn from, and at the same time helping. Whereas, you know, it's kind of like the complete opposite, right? So a lot of times, you know, people that, you know, are at the beginning, and there's so many people that are like, you know, oh, you don't need a, you know, a coach or mentor. And, you know, to me, at the end of the day, it's individual preference by all means, I think. And this doesn't have to do with Amazon or this. I agree. I think it has to do with anything. I mean, like I said, an Olympic athlete always has a coach, and they're the elite in the world because and you find people like that. And to me, it comes down to speed too. Like if I want to learn something, I don't want to take 3 years to learn from it, picking around the internet to find. Like I just want to find, you know, people you can trust and rely upon. And, you know, that's part of the process. So that's
collapse the time.
Yeah. How about, I'm going to take you to add on here just because, you know, someone starts growing a team and, you know, how about just as you've had to expand and grow a team and, you know, trust, you know, you have to hand off some of these tasks to other people. You know, how about, you know, how have you thought about adding team members in terms of hiring someone? And, you know, because you guys are growing, you're going to continue to grow, and other people, you know, are going to get to the stage with their business well, or they're probably, some people on here have a couple $1 million business. And so they're wondering that because you were once kind of the laptop life entrepreneur. But, you know, how about any just thoughts on, you know, adding people to your team, and how do you
absolutely
that works for you?
Yeah. And there's an Inc. Article coming out, where Kayla and I talk about this, and really like we had to recognize that in order to grow, we couldn't do it all ourselves. Mm-hmm. You know, I think we do live in an incredible time where you can have a laptop and you can be solo, or maybe have like a EA or something, or a virtual assistant, and you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is unprecedented because you couldn't do that 20 years ago. Again, it's going from that, like, you just want to be like that laptop lifestyle entrepreneur and have your thing and have your little group and that's cool. And that's amazing if that's what you want. But if you want to make a bigger impact, if you want to grow a real company, you can't do it alone. You know what I mean? And I think that people shy away and they're scared of team members, but I'm actually like, I'm the opposite. I'm like, I want everybody to be a full-time employee. I want everybody to be on payroll because I want that person's all-in commitment towards the vision, towards the mission. I want them to be so passionate about what we do that I get their discretionary time. Like, I don't want to, you know, if you have a contractor that you're just one of their clients. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I think it takes like I would say like 2 to 3 people that are working as contractors full-time to be one employee. To be honest with you, that's like what I've actually noticed in terms of like what they can get done. And, you know, growing a team, it scares people because number one, they don't want to let go. But at the end of the day, like their 85 is better than my 100 if I don't have the time to get it done. Right. So if they can do it 85% as good as I can, then I can now leverage that time completely and I can move the company forward. Right. And the biggest thing with having a team is, I would say is, I hire 3 things. I hire character, I hire commitment, and I hire competence. I think that people can learn any skill, but if they're committed, they're willing to work, they have character, they have integrity, and they're competent, meaning they can learn, they show that they can learn new things, then I hire them. Because at the end of the day, I think people all the training is out there, right? And then once you have people, I think what trips people up is that, you know, and I mean, I could talk about this for like a week, but I had to boil it down. You just need to have clear systems of accountability. And so people need to know, number one, where they're going. They need to know what's a win. They need to have a scoreboard, right?
Yeah.
If people know where they're going and you say, here's the result, go get it, they will blow you away and surprise you by their unique talents and abilities if you put them in a place where they're operating in their strengths, right? And then people need to have accountability, right? They need to know and be able to track that success along the way. And so that system of Airlock and forward planning and tracking is key, right? It's key to have those, like I can jump in right now and see anybody in my company and see what they're working on today, because it's all in a sheet and it's all organized in a file, and they open it every day, and that's part of their working here. It's mandatory that they do that, right?
Interesting.
And
I think it's just like do they kind of put some notes like what we're working on type thing? Is that how that works?
It's just a template. It's a forward planning template that's just like a checklist. And so they would move their Airlock onto that forward planning. And then for me, I have 7 direct reports. And so I review their forward planning every week on a strategic meeting. So, like the interactions between people are calendared, and everybody knows that they have to create that forward planning and plan their time. And then as long as it's in one place in a file system on Google, then you can see it. And all of a sudden you go from having team members, and you're just like, because what happens when most people hire someone is they're like, okay, go do this. And then they come back and then they check, like, is it done? Okay, it's cool. Now here's the next thing. And that's exhausting, right? And so instead of that kind of transactional, as Alex Charfin calls it, you switch to transformational. And so at that point, you're focused on the result. So it's just like, hey, here's the result I want. Let me coach you and check in with me on the way. And giving, one of the biggest things is you have to give people responsibility if you want them to be responsible. You have to give them an opportunity. So that was like just like bombs of lots of things. But man, if you like rewind this and like write those down and like think about them, and it will change the way that you see team members. And man, it's so cool when you get to see people grow and take ownership of what you're doing. And all of a sudden there's not one of you pushing your thing forward. There's 60 of you, 70 of you pushing your thing forward, and your impact becomes so much greater. Your ability to expand becomes so much greater. And it happens one block at a time, right? It's just one person at a time.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think, sometimes people ask, when Jason and Brad and I, when we started getting into the coaching and consulting, people are like, why would you do that? It doesn't make sense. It's like, and there's a lot of reasons, but, meeting people like you is a big part of it, right? So when you're starting to get into teaching and helping, it kind of opens this ecosystem, kind of what's around you, what other people are doing and learning. So, those that are listening or watching is, when you go to a business, go, oh, how did they get from here to here? They just hit it. They had a lucky streak or whatever to get to this big, versus what you just described. When people hear it, like, oh, wow, there's like a lot of thought and effort and energy and positive energy that's going on to make this stuff work. And I think it goes back to what you talked about at the beginning, right? In terms of, being successful, you've got to have some passion and to get these businesses off the ground. I had one related question to that. So I think it's your left shoulder on the wall there. For those in our audience wouldn't know what those looks like, those Grammys or platinum albums you have on your wall there. Can you just share what those are? Because they look cool.
Oh yeah, man. So the smaller ones are a funnel that did over $1 million in sales. The middle one is $10 million in sales. So, I mean, our business operates off about 9 different offers, which all have their own funnel. And so that's ClickFunnels is awesome. Russell's like, yeah, hey, we're going to start sending these things and these awards, which is brilliant, right? Because everybody wants one. And I'm like, I'll take it. It's cool. Look good on my wall. If he didn't send awards, I wouldn't have anything up there. So yeah, it's cool, man.
So the middle one's that's the 10 million.
Yep. Yeah. The big silver one.
Yeah. The 10 million there. So it's, yeah, that is really sweet and really awesome. So how about just on the Amazon side, just any thoughts for your business? Just, again, people are out there looking, and some people maybe have existing brands. I'd love your take around, hey, what made you think sell on Amazon? And then also related to this, I'd love it's somewhat related, but just talk about brand and the importance you think, of brand as it relates to selling your product. So yeah.
Yeah, no, totally, man. And you were instrumental in helping me really understand the Amazon ecosystem. Cause I've kind of heard bits and pieces and I put it together, but I mean, you guys are doing it, man. Like right now you're in it, you're doing it, you're operating in it. And like, speaking of mentors, like, pick people who are doing it right now, not who did it 5 years ago or who did like, find people who have done it before. Everyone's teaching stuff. They sold one sale and all of a sudden they're an expert and a coach and all that. So anyway, that's a side rant, but man, Amazon is, I mean, it's 50% of online e-commerce, right? So for us, it's, we have our own sites that will generate more revenue per visitor than Amazon will. But Amazon makes sense because there's so much traffic already there. So if I can put my products on Amazon and people will find them just because they're on Amazon and I don't have to pay anything, right? Then I've grown my company, right? At the end of the day. So for us, it was a no-brainer because there's so many people searching, and it was great meeting with you, man, and getting that strategy down to exactly how we're going to take it from a couple 100,000 a month to beyond. Because it did well already because we were already getting so much search volume. But I mean, Amazon is just, there's so much traffic. There's so many people. Like you literally think of half the money spent online is on this freaking one website and you're not there, like you don't exist. Like if you're not on Amazon in 10 years and you sell something like anything, like you're going to be obsolete, like period. They spend double the company behind them in advertising every day. Every single year. I think I saw a graph. I can't remember the number. It was like 180, I don't want to say billion. It was like 180 million or something, Google ads or something. I don't know. It was insane. But I know that next to like Facebook and I don't remember, like an insurance company or something, they're like, they spend so much money on advertising to sell your products that you list on there. If you're not on there, like, and it's crazy because you type in like LadyBoss Lean, right? Like our top selling product. Shake. And you go on Amazon or you go on Google and then Amazon beats me out, right? Because they have so much domain authority. They have so much influence. And so for us, it was a no-brainer because of the traffic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Actually that was, when we were meeting and going through things, I was actually surprised by, because we're doing some of the analysis on keywords and certain things and search volume, right? And then when the LadyBoss term, it was like the search volume per month was huge. Or I mean, pretty sizable without you pushing it on Amazon, so that caught my attention. Like, oh no, this is a
big shopping there.
And you weren't pushing people to do that, right?
Because what they'll do is they'll go to my website where like I've spent all this time and energy and we have amazing conversion rates. But at the end of the day, like they'll be like, oh, I want this product now. And then they'll just go to Amazon to find it because they know they could just hit it with one click and they know it's easy. They don't want to go through my cart. Right. So like, it's good and bad, but the good is I can make the sale. But if they go on Amazon, it's not on there and they're like, I don't really want it that bad, but I would have pressed one click on Amazon if it was on there. Yeah. That's why I got on Amazon, because I do that. Like how many times have you seen a commercial or a Facebook ad and you go to Amazon to look for it? Cause you could just hit one click, that they'll refund you if they're a scam, you can see the reviews. Totally. I mean, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah, no. I think the other one for you too, which is you've got this, really great quality brand that you, Kalen, and the team are growing still. And that's a big, you have a big following, but it's still a massive world of people that don't know you or your products yet that, are on Amazon. Sure. And will find you with some of these other tools, the optimization, the keyword stuff. So you kind of have this perfect combination, I think, of a brand and this work you've done and you continue to do, that it can be very successful off of Amazon. But when you can bring it in there and introduce the product and the brand to, a big world that maybe hasn't come across you guys yet as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, you were talking earlier about a brand and like, the importance of that. And I think like anybody can sell a product and generate a transaction, but not everyone can create a customer. And I know guys that have made millions off of transactions. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that's good.
But what happens when you take one transaction, you spend that money, and then all of a sudden you've got a customer who's going to buy from you for forever, right? Like the real companies of today's day and age, those are the companies that they don't just create transactions, they create customers. And having a brand is part of that, right? Like it's such an esoteric word. But I think it's just like, it boils down to us giving people an identity. So LadyBoss Weight Loss is where they step into their alter ego, their confidence. They step into this lady boss that's inside of them, and they've now owned this identity. And lady bosses are going to do what lady bosses are supposed to do. Like a lady boss does this. They use our products. They buy our stuff, and we know, and we take it, it's a serious thing that we give them that, and they own that, because we now have the obligation to deliver the best for them, and we do, right? But the bottom line is, you can create transactions or you can create customers, and if you have an identity, you have something that people can trust in, and you follow up, and you truly value them, and they connect with your brand, then now you have a real asset. You have something that goes way beyond just one transaction, one time to scratch an itch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Again, I took a couple notes down myself, but that's one. I love the customer perspective versus transaction. And, I like you said, there's people that can go out and sell, doesn't have to be anything, right? Can sell a bunch of stuff, but in terms of really building things they're going to last, and like you said, repeat customers, and all the residual effects you get from designing a brand. And right. I think that's great. And you guys are, such a great example of the strength of a brand without even trying to sell on Amazon. You put stuff up there, but you're selling like 300,000 a month, right? Before you even really started focusing on it, right? That's like your baseline that you're measuring yourself off to see what you can do.
Because the brand, because people they're searching for it. They see it, it's there. It's, we take care of the customers. We care about our reviews. We take it serious. Like I have, and everyone should do this, type in your company name and set up a Google alert. So every time your company name pops up online, you get a Google alert, right? Because then you can see, what are people saying about you? Does someone complain about you on a forum somewhere? Like that's an opportunity for you to contact them and turn something out of it, to fix it, to address it, right? So that's, little tactic that you can use to find out if your name pops up somewhere, and really have control and reach out. We have a complaint protocol. So we have a team member who reaches out to every complaint that comes in. Like if it's legitimate right now, we get some stuff that's not legitimate, but if it's legitimate, someone's unhappy, they post it online. That's out now, right? You get one shot at people's perception of your company. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think you gotta really care, and it kind of boils back down to that passion.
Yeah. And that brand is, the brand is certainly an asset, right? I mean, you build that brand, and even people talk about on the business side, you can eventually sell a brand. I mean, people, even small brands on Amazon, people are growing them to a certain amount. It's an asset that you can then sell. And if it's a quality brand, that's worth a lot more than a bunch of transactions that aren't focused on a purpose. That's, love it. How about, as far as LadyBoss, everything else, because we have plenty of women, we have, people that want to check it out. Where would people go to look things up? And can you tell a little bit, just maybe a little bit more, how people interact? Because I know we talked about selling product a lot here too, but I know, I know the community is so strong and kind of inspirational, but anything you can share about that, and how people can check it out or get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, ladyboss.com is like, go, like if you want to check it out, if you want to see the programs, whatever, ladyboss.com is where you can go. But yeah, as far as the community, cause you just mentioned it, I think that if you're selling something, that, it's difficult to say as far as like who should do a community and who shouldn't. But Facebook communities are so powerful, and there's so much opportunity and facilitation. And what I mean is, like, if you can get people together and facilitate like-minded people coming together, there's massive power. So for example, for us, every single customer, no matter what they buy, if they buy a piece of our swag, which is like our merchandise, they buy our coaching program and they get paired up with one of our coaches. If they buy a supplement, or if they buy the LadyBoss Lifestyle pocket trainer, like no matter what they get, we push them to join this group. And what it does is it creates community around your brand. It creates connection between your customers. And if you can do that, facilitate that, to me, that's a bigger asset than anything, because, you know, it's one thing to have, you know, when I say customer, like those are our customers, right? Like we have, every morning we get on and we look at how many women are actively engaged in our group, right? This morning it was like 37,000 or something. So yesterday, 37,000 people were literally on their phone engaging with each other through LadyBoss, right? And to me, that's a true brand. That's a true customer. And so, you know, 10 years ago, that didn't exist, right?
Yeah.
Like you couldn't facilitate that. It was like, how could you connect people? But the platform's there, everybody has it. So, you know, if there's a level of engagement that can be created within your customers around your brand, and you don't have a Facebook group, like you should go set one up and put every customer in there and create a place where they can facilitate and grow as a customer of yours. You know what I mean? Like there's groups for, you know, entrepreneurs of a certain, like I got a buddy who's got a company where it's property managers, and he helps them with grow their businesses. There's a groups of property managers. There's another friend of mine who's got gym owners, and there's a group of gym owners. And it's like women trying to lose weight, right? And their groups have become like the lifeblood of their company. It's where they can learn what they need to do next. It's where they can listen to their customers. It's where their customers can grow more connected to them. And it's where they can sell. I mean, we sell in our group all the time. It's amazing what you can do in 2018. The hard part is deciding what to do, because there's so many things.
Yeah, absolutely, Brandon. This is, like I said, this is really inspirational stuff. I think if you hurry up and grow your business to $1 billion, so you can, then you could just teach other people how to run businesses, because I think you'd be pretty effective at that. So this was appreciate the time today, man. Sharing some of this. We talked for I'm sure people, no doubt, hopefully people took, like you said, some good notes on these things, because this is like some really, really helpful stuff. Like I said, we're always out there trying to learn. And like I said, we learned, besides my New Mexico mug and a few other things, my partner Jason and I were already talking about you, things that you do. And man, really appreciate the difference that you make, and not only with your community, but just willing to help others as well.
Yeah, you bet, man. And thank you. Because Jamie flew out here. He's like, well, I come out there. But I was like, you come out here. He's like, all right. So he traveled, he showed up and gave us some really good information. Because like, dude, bottom line is like, if you're trying to learn about Amazon, if you're trying to have an Amazon business, to launch products on Amazon, to have a side business on Amazon, like you're the guy that they should be listening to. Bottom line, like if I've seen the listings, I know the strategies, the stuff is work. It works. They're owning the market in the niches that they're in. And so, yeah, dude, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. It was fun.
I appreciate that, Brandon. I know I've got to respect. I know you've got your Airlock's been translated to your schedule for the day. So I know you got to keep rocking and rolling. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Hey everyone, just to wrap up, how awesome was that, right? Brandon did not disappoint. Just an awesome, inspiring individual to be around. And I hope you got as much value out of that as I did. I encourage you to try to take action on some of the key points he made in some of our discussions. That's always a great way to try to implement something from these type of discussions. You don't need to email me for the information about how to work with us. Yeah, I loved helping Brandon with his Amazon business. We're growing it to over a 7-figure business a month as quickly as we can. It's already over 350,000. To apply to work with us while we're open is you just go to amzinsiders.com/apply. Really simple, no cost, free consultation to see if it's a good fit to work with you. So go there while it's open. If you get a message that it's closed, that means we filled up, because I can only handle so many people to work with at a time. But again, amzinsiders.com/apply. And then the other thing, which I know tons of people are interested in, is how did Brandon build this platform of, before we got to Amazon, he does over $4 million a month in e-commerce. And the tool there is this ClickFunnels platform. And ClickFunnels has agreed to give us this special 14-day free trial if you go to amzinsidersfunnels.com. So write that down, amzinsidersfunnels.com. Check it out. It's super cool. And you can learn a lot. There's all sorts of resources how to use it. Again, we use it a ton. It's really user-friendly to build out your website and sell stuff. It gives you some additional flexibility or a lot of flexibility that doesn't exist on Amazon as well too. Yeah, hopefully you wrote down those 2 things. Those domains, you don't have to worry about it. You don't need to reach out to me. You can just go check them out yourself. And most importantly, make sure that you, again, try to implement something from that discussion with Brandon. If you have other thoughts or comments, I always appreciate any comments you have. Leave any feedback you have, and look forward to the next one.